How to adjust the back gauge deviation on a press brake. During actual use of a press brake due to machine wear or collisions with the sheet metal, the x-axis of the back gauge may develop a left-right deviation. How should this be adjusted? Step on the foot pedal. Ensure that the upper die and lower die centers are aligned. The center of the upper die and the center of the lower die should be in a straight line. Raise the upper die. Turn off the power. Using tools, move all 3 gauge fingers to the left side, leaving only the gauge finger on the right side. Then we begin measuring. Note that the lower die is aligned at the center, so the lower die will be the reference point. Start measuring. This is the dimension on the right side. Then move the right side gauge finger to the left side again. Measure again. This is the dimension on the left side. If there is a dimensional deviation between the left and right sides, it means there is an issue with the parallelism between the beam and the die. If the dimension is too large or too small, we need to adjust the beam's parallelism. If the deviation is too large, the beam needs to move forward. If the deviation is too small, the beam needs to move backward. First, loosen these 4 hex bolts. These 4 hex bolts connect the beam to the back gauge base. After loosening these 4 hex bolts, loosen the nuts on both sides as well. If the beam needs to move forward, loosen the inner screws and tighten the outer screws. If the beam needs to move backward, loosen the outer screws and tighten the inner screws. The beam will move backward. Keep adjusting until the measurement results for the left and right gauge fingers are the same. After the beam's parallelism adjustment is complete, you need to measure whether the dimensions of all 4 gauge fingers are identical. Once the left and right sides of the beam are parallel, the gauge fingers need to be measured. All F gauge fingers need to be measured individually. If 1 or 2 gauge fingers have deviation, you can adjust those specific gauge fingers. If a gauge finger's dimension is too large and the other 3 gauge fingers are the same, move the gauge finger forward. First, loosen these 2 screws. After loosening, turn the handle clockwise and the gauge finger will move forward. After adjusting to match the dimensions of the other gauge, fingers tighten these 2 screws again. If the gauge finger's dimension is too small, move the gauge finger backward. Again, loosen these 2 screws. Turn the handle counterclockwise and the gauge finger will move backward. After adjusting to match the dimensions of the other gauge fingers, tighten these 2 screws again.